Good morning everyone, I am Sir David Siritaga, and today my vlog is all about the exogenic processes, more specifically about weathering and erosion. So what does exogenic processes mean? So exogenic comes from the two Greek words exo and genic. Exo meaning from outside or external, and genic meaning origin. So when combined together, it can form a meaning of external origin of rocks, since exogenic processes are more related to the rock cycle, or the cycle of rocks and how they are formed. So now let's move on to the first process of exogenic process, which is the weathering process.
All sedimentary rocks are formed through weathering, a combination of different forces and conditions that breaks down rocks exposed to the surface into smaller pieces or fragments.
In weathering process, we have two types of weathering. We have mechanical and we have chemical.
Physical weathering or mechanical weathering is the collection of processes that breaks down rocks mechanically. More simply, one big rock becomes many small rocks.
Even if an external force like the growing of plants takes place on rocks, those roots can lead to weathering because of the roots tending to pull apart the rocks, breaking them down into smaller pieces. So now let's move on to the types of mechanical weathering. First, we have the frost weathering, second is the thermal expansion, and the last is abrasion weathering.
So in freeze-thaw weathering or frost wedging, it occurs when water seeps into cracks of the rock like in this video and freezes. And as it freezes, it expands the rock, gradually breaking the rock apart into pieces. So in thermal expansion, the reason is temperature. Heating and cooling of rocks repeatedly results in expansion and contraction of the rock. Gravity is the cause of abrasion, for example when the rocks tumble down a mountainside and hit another rock and breaking it into fragments.
So now let's talk about chemical weathering. So in chemical weathering, it actually occurs on rocks when a chemical reaction happens on the minerals of the rocks. So when that happens, the physical properties and chemical properties of the rocks changes, and we actually have three common types of chemical weathering. We have the water, we have the carbon dioxide, and also we have the oxygen.
So in hydrolysis, it takes place when an acid rain reacts with rock-forming minerals such as feldspar to produce clay and salts that are removed in a solution. In carbonation, rock minerals react with carbonic acid and after that it dissolves or breaks down the minerals in the rocks. In oxidation, oxygen reacts with metal elements in the rock, creating oxides, and those oxides weakens the structure of the materials.
So now let's talk about erosions. So what is erosion? In its definition, erosion means the displacement of rocks or solids through water, wind, and ice. So that's the different types of agents of erosion.
In water erosion, any forms of running water that carry away bits of soil and sand and slowly wash away the sediment, like the small streams in rainfalls. In wind erosion, it constantly transports dust, sand, and bits of rocks from one place to another. What happens in ice erosion is that the glaciers scrape against the ground below the rocks, eroding both the ground and the rocks. Other processes that occur directly in association with the movement of glacial ice over its bed are abrasion, quarrying, and subglacial meltwater.